Hello again, cherry lovers. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my melt in your mouth jam-filled sugar cookies. Stay tuned. Okay guys, we're going to go over the ingredients here. And first of all, in this cup we have 3/4 cup of salted butter, and that equals to about a stick and a half of butter. Here we have 2/3 cup of granulated sugar, 1 large egg, and 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla. And in this bowl we have 1 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour. Also added into this flour is 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And in this container here we have about 3/4 cup of fruit jam. And you make sure when you put it in your cup you stir it up really well so it's about this consistency, so that it will go into your thumbprint in your cookies nice and evenly. And here we have about 3/4 cup of Merkin's white chocolate. And I just want to touch on this real quick. I get these Merchant's white chocolate from Amazon. And I've tried a lot of different white chocolates that I've used in the store, and none of them measure up to this one. And I'm not being paid to say that. But this one is called Merkin's, and it also comes in chocolate as well as white chocolate. And a really cool thing about this chocolate is that when you melt it, it doesn't right away harden. It stays melted for, a particular length of time. And then another cool thing is, once it does start to harden, you can actually pop it back into the microwave, probably about 15 or 20 seconds, and it softens right back up. So it is a longer lasting white chocolate. It works very well. And this right here is my cake decorating pen that I'm going to be using to put the chocolate on my cookies. And this is another handy gadget. You don't need this. I repeat, you do not have to have this. But I saw this on a video, and this one is 1.5 tablespoons. You probably can find it in a 1 tablespoon size and even a 2 tablespoon size. But it helps to get your cookies measured out evenly, so the size of them will be evenly. So this is nice to have, but it's not actually necessary. So those are our ingredients, and we're going to get started and put these ingredients together. Okay, now after the ingredients, the first step that we're going to do in this recipe, we're going to take our butter, and this is again salted butter, and we're going to mix that with our sugar. And yes, we will be doing this by hand. So make sure Larry can see that. All we're going to do here is just kind of get this mixed up in the sugar. You want to get it all completely mixed, and then beat it until it's kind of fluffy. So of course that's going to take me a couple of minutes. So I'm going to finish getting this completely mixed up, and then we'll be back and I'll show you the kind of consistency that you want this to look like. Okay, this is just about the consistency that you want it to be at, as you can see, and it's only taking me about a minute or so to get to this consistency. And that's how you want it. You want it a little bit fluffy and nice and creamy and thoroughly mixed, taking it from the sides. All right, now the next thing we're going to do here is add in our egg, and we're going to put it right there because we don't want any eggshells. Okay, and then we're also going to add in our vanilla, and then you're just going to mix that up until it's completely thoroughly incorporated, removing it from the sides. And that's only going to take you about a minute also. Now you can use a spatula. I have my big spatula here on the counter. I'll be using that one for the flour. But it's easier for me to just mix it up with my spoon. And as you can see how simple that is, just continuously stir. Also remembering taking it from the sides until it's nice and creamy. It'll take me about 30 more seconds to do this. And then we're going to add the flour. Okay, this is nice and creamy. And I've got my larger spatula, and I've scraped down the sides. And now we're going to just pour in the flour, and you can actually pour all of your flour in there at one time. And all you're going to do is just mix this until there is no flour left in the bowl. You want to make sure you remove all the flour from the bottom. And again, you notice we're doing this by hand. I'm making mini fingerprint cookies, and I said fingerprint instead of thumbprint because I'm either going to use a fingerprint or I'm going to use my teaspoon or quarter teaspoon measure to show you how to actually put a print into the cookies. Also, at this point, we can stop while I'm mixing that. We want to set the oven to 375. And my oven is a little different than yours, so I have to remember that I have to set mine 3 degrees different. Now, move this out of the way. I've got a cookie sheet here, parchment paper, already set and ready to go. And actually, I have 2 or 3 cookie sheets ready because I'm going to be baking cookies for a while. But again, now you just want to continuously mash and mix by hand. My recipe that I use, this one, I do it by hand. And you just keep stirring and mixing. And it doesn't look like it's doing a whole lot right now, but you just keep mixing and it'll get there. So I'm going to not keep you on camera while I mix this. I'm going to mix this up, and then I'm going to show you how to scoop it onto the tray and put the indents in our cookies. Okay, as you can see, this is nice and thoroughly mixed up, and I've already taken a few scoops of cookie dough out. But I wanted to remind you of one other thing concerning the dough. If you have any trouble as you're stirring that, because I know some of us are not that strong when it comes to stirring it up with our hand. So if you would like to just add your flour in, you can actually take your hands, you don't have to have gloves, take your hands and mix it up. It is a lot quicker, but in actuality, it only took me 2 minutes to stir that up by hand. Doesn't take long to mix it up. Now, the next thing we're going to do here, this is my cookie scooper. You don't have to use this, as I said. My cookie scoop is a tablespoon and a half. And only thing I do is take a scoop out, put it on the cookie sheet, take another scoop out, put it on the cookie sheet. Let's see, we got 4 this way, 4, so I need 1, 2, 3, 4 more. And I'm going to show you how I make these into minis. Now, I actually make these every year, or make the cookie recipes or candies for my family, nieces, nephews, children, and grandchildren for Christmas gifts. They love my baking. Now, we just set that aside. This is very, very simple. You take that, you try to get it halfway. You don't have to be perfect. I cut that in half, roll that into a ball, and put it right there. This one over here, cut it in half, roll it into a ball. And this one is already cut in half, so we're going to roll that into a ball and put that one right there. We're going to cut that in half, roll it into a ball. And what you want to get is 4. I like mine to be 4 in a row because they spread out a little bit. But I just cook them with 4 this way and 3 this way. So you have about 12 on your sheet. And the next step is, I have a little cup here of water. I have my gloves on. What I do is dip my finger in the water, tap it to make sure there's no excess. And I just turn it around in there. Dip it in the water. Turn it around. And it actually makes pretty good thumb or fingerprints. I know some of them are called thumbprints, but mine is a fingerprint. And it's really simple. I mean, it's just so simple. Stick your finger in there, turn it around. Okay, now I have here my 1/4 teaspoon and then my 1/8. And all you're gonna do, I've got this already stirred up. If it's set and it needs a little more stirring, just stir it up. You don't want to overfill them, because if you do, they don't taste bad or anything. It's just that they flow out onto the cookie. You want to fill them almost, not quite, almost to the top, and that's sufficient. And you're just gonna put some in there. This is so simple. It's a very quick recipe, simple recipe, and the best part about quick and simple is when you can get a recipe that tastes absolutely amazing. This is one of those recipes. And it's just a basic buttery sugar cookie recipe that tastes absolutely amazing. Okay, now we've already preheated the oven. Put a little more in that one. To 375. You're gonna pop that in the oven. And you want these to cook for about 12 minutes, but check them after 11. Mine usually cook about 12 minutes, but after 11, check them. And what you want is just to make sure that they're just starting to like stiffen up, puff up. You don't want them to turn. You don't want them to be brown. You just want them to cook, and they will turn out amazing. So if you think they're not done after 12 minutes, take them out anyway and you'll see, but check them after 11 minutes. And I'm gonna pop these into the oven. And we're going to set the timer to 11 minutes, and we will check them after 11 minutes. And then I will show you what the finished product is, and then my little secret ingredient for the end. Okay guys, here's a little simple touch to these delicious, buttery, jam-filled cookies. Now, I'm gonna put a little bit right there just to make sure it's coming out okay. Okay, this is just our white chocolate, the Merkins white chocolate. This is why I love the Merkins. It's very creamy. One thing that I love the most about this is that you can actually heat this back up. I actually, the white chocolate that I'm using, I actually used it yesterday on these cookies, and of course it hardened. I put it in the refrigerator, and then I took it back out today. And guess what? It melted just as nicely. Now here's one of the things you can do with this. You can make an S. I tell myself, just make an S choice. And that gives me the 3 lines that I'm trying to get across. But this is such a delicious, delicious touch to the cookie. I'm not doing that perfectly, but it's okay. You can put 3 lines, you can put 4, whatever you want, an S, a 5, a Z, whatever you want on top. But this is just a little touch that my family loves. Or, of course, you can sprinkle, dust it with some powdered sugar. And the powdered sugar is a good touch too. It tastes delicious with the powdered sugar, but I love the white chocolate. Of course, most people know that I just love white chocolate, but okay, and the one last thing is, if you want the white chocolate to harden really quick, you can pop your cookies into the refrigerator for 5 minutes and they will harden. Otherwise, you can just leave them sitting out on the table. Probably within 45 minutes to an hour, they will harden by themselves. Okay guys, now that this is done, I'm just gonna take one of these cookies, and I want you to see how nice and soft. They're very soft, and they're cooled off, so you don't have to worry. I love these cookies. They're very buttery. They got a slight crunch, and yet they're very, very soft. Delicious. Very delicious. So, guys, if you like this video, right up here, like and subscribe. Don't forget to do that. We enjoy making these videos. We love you guys. So good. And if you leave a comment, I love comments. Make sure you leave a comment, and I will always answer. I read all of my comments, and I answer every single one. Thank you again. Have a great day.